This is the new Atomic MRX, and I've already put 560 laps on it. I went to the track last week, and I took my time putting the car together. I made sure that there's no binding anywhere. It's the only car that I did that. Usually I would just put it together, and if it's binding, I would just crimp the end cap with the pliers. Well, this one I actually polished the ball studs and the pivot balls, all of them except for this one. This one was already loose. Everything else, just like any other cars, they're snug. So I did took my time polishing that, make sure nothing is binding. When I put the rear end together before I put the suspension, the rear end was so loose. With the weight and how loose the back end is, not loose in a bad way, but loose in a good way, you know that the back end is going to stay planted all the time. It's almost like it's never going to feel like it's tweaked in the back. That's what it felt like when I was putting the car together. When I went to the track and put laps in, the car did not feel tweaked at all, even after 560 laps. The traction I get in the back was consistent from lap 1 to lap 560. Even the front took maybe 7 to 10 laps to break in the brand new tires, but then after that, it was consistent. And I didn't have to do anything to the car while I was at the track, other than fixing the wheel that came off. That's all I did. The car, I didn't have to adjust the spring tension, change the spring, nothing. The caster camber, nope, I didn't have to do any of that. I did have to tighten the rollers back here because the countersunk screw came loose. That's about it. That's normal for brand new cars because I don't use Loctite. I just let them come loose and then I would tighten it, and then let them come loose again and I'll tighten it. Usually after two times they'd stop coming loose. But I do check my car, this one, and my other cars occasionally, make sure that they're tight, even under here. All the countersunk screws down here, make sure that they're tight. Okay. But nothing came loose other than that. I am testing this with the 2500 rocket motor for the 2500 class with the Hardbody, Lexan roof, and Lexan spoiler. This car is only 500ths of a second slower than the fastest lap on the track, which is also my car. So it is also fast and it's consistent. After the break-in period in the front, the car didn't do anything unexpected, especially the steering, the front. I guess I'm more referring to the front because some cars, yes, you can hit a fast lap, you can do 10 consistent laps, but you can't do it for the entire race. Let's say the race is 40 laps or 30 laps, whatever. It's hard to make the car listen to the driver's input from lap 1 to lap 30. Sometimes when some brand cars, when they hit a bump, it would steer. When you try to maneuver around traffic and you move a little bit of that steering, the car goes, you're going straight and then straight, you turn this much, the car turns this much the whole time, okay? But somehow this lap, you have to maneuver around traffic, you turn this much. The car didn't turn this much. Instead, the car turned more, right? But you only put this much. Okay, some cars, they do that. You move a little bit, the car moves this much. You know what I mean? Well, this car doesn't do that. When you turn this much, this is how much it's gonna give you. If you turn this much, that's how much it's gonna give you. Even if you abruptly turn to the other side, that's how much it's gonna give you. Some cars, when you turn this much, it's gonna give you more, right? And now you have to counter. You have to catch it. Okay, and it listens to the driver's input. The steering resolution on this car is so good. It makes driving the car more enjoyable because it's doing exactly what you want it to do. This is just how I feel of this car when I put it together. Okay, I don't know how you set up your MRX and how the MRX feel for you. You can set up a pass, follow someone, you can lead, follow someone without accidentally bumping into them. If there's a mistake, it's because of I made a mistake. It's not because the car did something funny. It's right now, with that 500 laps that I did, the car is actually really good. I did had to modify something to the car because I didn't think it felt right. What I did in the back, the pod bearing cup was just too tight. Putting this bearing here is not tight, okay? Well, anyways, this is PN. I'm just using it as an example. Putting this bearing in there is easy. With the atomic, you really have to push it in a little bit more effort. And then when you put this cup with the bearing in it and try to put it in the pod, I'm going to use this pod as an example, okay? Pretend that that's atomic. When I put it in there, I really have to shove it in using this tool, push it in there. And when I was doing that, I said, okay, that's not right. Something is off. So then I removed the bearing and put this on first, which I think is what you're supposed to do, right? You see how this one was, it just slid in, okay? But it's not wobbly. This is not, that cup is not wobbly. When I put this cup in the atomic pod, I had to push it in, put a little effort in it. And then when I put the bearing in there, I actually had to use a tool to push it in. So what I'm saying is it was a little tight. And maybe it's okay, maybe it doesn't do anything. But to me, it just didn't feel right that it's that tight. Why doesn't it feel right for me? Well, I just think that the bearing heats up and it's going to expand. And now when it expands, it's going to create resistance in the back. Also, when I corner, maybe this is somehow twisting and it's going to cause some kind of binding. Maybe they're not perfectly straight and it's causing some binding. Maybe it's a little... I just feel that it's not right. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. But what I did was I pretty much sand down a little bit of the bearing cup. Maybe I just messed it up, but it just gives me peace of mind that it's the fitment is like this. Okay? No effort. I just pushed it in there. It's not loose. And there's no movement going fore aft because there's no side. It's linkless. There's no side links. So that's what I did with the back end of the car. The front end, as you already know, I put the BZ5 camber. And what else did I do? Yes, I did spend a lot of time, half a day, with the front spring holder so that I can adjust this 0.9 hex and then it's going to raise the car up or lower the car down. But that didn't work because there's no room here. But luckily, we now have the double A arm, so I just need to wait for it to come into United States and then order it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did to the car. Oh yes, I think I've already posted that video to where I showed that I trimmed. Let me just get this out here. I put the version 2 axle with the 0.1 millimeter shim. I shaved 1 millimeter off of the hub, and then I rounded the corner so that the hub is not going to hit the shim or the lower arm. Okay, that's what I did to that. That hub is not hitting the lower arm or the lower shim under the knuckle. Okay, so that's what I did with that modification. The wheel hubs, the BZ5 camber cup for the bearing in the pod, and polishing the pivot balls. That's what I did to the car, and like I said, the car is fast. It's fast. The car is consistent. It's good. For the setup, I'll have the setup in the description below, but real quick, if you're still watching, the front, I have the black springs. The ride height in the front is 1.9. The camber is 1.7 degrees negative camber. The toe out is 3 degrees. The caster, I believe that's 2 with the shim in the back. The droop is 0.4. The droop in the back, in the back is 0.5. The spring is brown. The side springs are red. The ride height in the back is 1.9 millimeter. The grease, I'm using Kyosho 30 in the front, just right here, a little bit. No grease down here in the kingpin. And here, and also here. Pinion, I'm running the spec 13, spur is 53. This is Kyosho ball diff with Kyosho titanium shaft and carbide diff balls, 5 pieces. For the wheels, I have the PNF1 20mm zero offset with KS1134. The back is PNF1 plus 3 offset with Marka 15 slicks. I started with radials that are worn out, and I started it with it looking like this with the front brand new tires. I did that because I know, like I said, I can tell that the back end of this car is going to be planted, so this car didn't need brand new tires, or else I think the car is going to understeer. It worked out. The car was good even when the front was brand new. I just needed 7 laps to break them in, the front tires. If you're wondering if you can fit the hard case battery, I think you can, because you can open the door and look how much room I have. I have foams there, and slide the battery here and close it. Okay. I have the foam here to make sure that the battery weight is towards the front and not in the back. I don't need more weight in the back, so I'm trying to shift all the weight in the front. This is the body that I ran, but when I was doing the test, this was the body I ran, which is the same body that I use for my race car. This car is $280, and then plus $10 for the springs, this and that, which are the upgrade. And I use Kyosho ball diff just like on all of my cars. The car is very consistent. If it's not consistent, ask someone locally to help you with your car, because it should be consistent. This car, I think this car is with the double A arm. Okay, this car is gonna be easy to tune kind of car, especially with the double A arm. I'll put some more laps in, and with this body, I really enjoy the car now, especially with this body. Okay, I think that's it for this video. Okay, thanks.